Why don't you just start by giving us the status of the occupation?
Yeah, so last night we opened up Siemens Hall for people to come in and look around. This was a decision made by the people on the inside. I was not a part of that decision because I was not on the inside. But yeah, we opened it up, and this was done mainly to show that the university is lying about our actions. They've accused us of looting and mass destruction of property. We showed that that is not true. We showed there is no looting. We showed there was no destruction of property beyond graffiti, which we are willing, which is discussing with people about painting over graffiti right now. We haven't been destroying computers or glass or things like that. We haven't been taking anything. The only form of looting I've heard of is moving tables out of rooms to make barricades, which is not looting because they're still on campus. And we have not accessed any personal items or documents or records, which is another thing that they have accused us of, which we have not done.
Yeah. So maybe you could kind of take us through the events of yesterday, because, you know, we were here, we saw, you know, you were gearing up for a confrontation with law enforcement that has yet to come. Maybe it will come in the future, but like, what changed during the course of yesterday?
Right. At about 11:30, we received a word that the police were coming, that they were going to bring in the riot squad to forcibly disperse us. So that it did cause us to be very concerned, because we do not want to suffer any more police violence. So we met, we discussed, and we met with the administration, and I believe that the administration that are here are trying to do what they can to work with us, but University President Jackson is making it very difficult for them to work with us.
Can you just talk a little bit? So were there were negotiations happening behind the scenes through the course of yesterday?
Yeah, negotiations mainly happened like from about 1 to 2 was when we had a lot of negotiations going on. The admin here that are on campus, which does not include Jackson, by the way. Jackson has not been on campus since this started. The admin that are here are trying to do what they can, but without Jackson's approval, they're not willing. Their powers are very limited. So it's unfortunate they're not willing. They're not willing to. They don't have the power, I should say, to be able to adhere to our demands, even the ones that are very doable, like calling the public statement for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
And so Siemens Hall was opened for a period yesterday. You know, people can see that the barrier to the entrance that was opened has been reestablished.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why was that decision made?
So we're not. The building's not being given up. And that was done partially because we showed that there was no property damage. We were potentially worried about potential bad actors coming in and causing property damage to. And we closed the building to prevent that from happening, because we knew that if the building remained open throughout the night, it would be very difficult for us to monitor everything that was happening in the building.
And then, so what's next? Are we still ready for a potential law enforcement?
We're trying to work with the administration to see what we can do. Nobody here wants to bring in the police. The only people who do are Jackson, who is, I believe, currently out of state.
Really?
Yes, I believe so. He has not. Well, 1, he's not been on campus since it started. 2, I believe he's currently out of state. He wants to bring in the police. He wants to have us all forcibly arrested and charged for our alleged crimes.
Okay. I think I heard that he was in the county, but
Okay. I'm not sure. I know. I've heard people say that he's out of the state. But I can't confirm anything about that.
Okay. Well, I mean, is anything else you want to get out, a message you want to put out into the world?
Yeah, I want to talk about the statement that Jackson put out, because it is just entirely untrue. He's claimed that we caused millions of dollars in property damage. That is strictly untrue. Anyone who's looked in Siemens Hall can see that that's not true. We've respected spaces. We have not caused, again, any more damage than graffiti. In Nelson Hall, things are left in place. We have ropes for people to not to go upstairs and respect the cultural spaces. There is to say that there was millions of dollars of damage is absurd. If the university is worried about the cost of damages, I would remind them that with Jackson's removal, there will be an extra $600,000 in the budget. That includes a $60,000 housing stipend for his 3 houses, none of which are within a 500-mile radius of campus. So that is enough to pay for the repainting and the moving the things back, moving the tables and chairs back into the classrooms. To pay for that dozens of times over.
I think a lot of people will be wondering, so how does this end? When does this end? How much longer do you think this will go?
Right. I know we're currently working with administration. Administration really wants us to give up some of our leverage in order to cooperate, and I have to say that it feels so disappointing that they're asking us to give up our movement in exchange for pretty much that investment. I believe we're working on, and I have hope for that. But for the other demands, at least so far, the only thing they've been willing to promise is they will not use violence in exchange for us giving up our movement. And that feels disappointing to consider that they would consider using violence before they would be willing to, for example, call for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. I know the faculty, which have been greatly supportive, and I really appreciate. They have actually passed a statement the faculty has passed a statement calling for the permanent ceasefire in Gaza. And I would ask any administrators who agree with that sentiment, who want to help the movement, I'd ask for them to add their names to that faculty statement.